Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second ever meeting of the Entrance Series. We are here at the Silverstone circuit in the United Kingdom for round 2 of the championship. I am JW97, and this time, unlike last week, I am joined today by a co-commentator. Of course, Yuri was a co-commentator, but he doesn't really class himself as a co-commentator, but somebody who's actually alongside me, that being Blake Moore.
Good evening, good afternoon / evening, everybody. I am Blake Moore. So, Silverstone. We're here at Silverstone, one of the oldest tracks in the entire world. I still think it's one of the best circuits in the world, but Silverstone doesn't need any introduction, does it?
Not really, no. It's probably one of the major tracks that if you wanted to have an F1 car, then you'd surely include Silverstone in it, no matter what. But yeah, obviously we've got the top class race later on, but first we've got to get through the entrance series. Now, last time out in Austria, as you can see in fact, before I get onto Austria, obviously you can see qualifying is on the name. We've got Emilia Koenigsegger who's going to be going out first onto the racetrack. But whilst everybody gets ready to start their first flying laps of the qualifying session in this 15-minute qualifying session, of course, last time out in Austria, the first ever race, of course. Quite an interesting race, it's fair to say. Quite a few excitement throughout the field, but one man completely dominated the race, that being the German of Sam Fact, who took a dominating victory last time out in Austria. And it's safe to say that a few people in the stream chat were saying that he could be the next Florian Volker as a result of that performance. Now, last time people said that about David Kupak, really go that way quite well. Of course, David can still redeem himself, of course, but are people jumping the gun a little bit there with Blake, or do you think they've got a case?
I think, to be honest, I think most German drivers they need a little more time because most people usually jump the gun. Because, for example, I'll give you an example. Margaret Koenig can get pole position on his BTCC debut and didn't do that well in the race. So I think I presume that people usually jump the gun with German drivers very quickly. So they need patience, people.
Indeed. So rather than jump the gun, I think we'd rather reserve judgment on that one. So obviously, there has been some changes, of course, from the last time that we had a race, of course. Now, you may remember last time out, it was a 35% race distance, but we realised that it was getting quite close to the time of the top class. So to avoid the bigger chance of it crossing over into the top class and ensure that it doesn't cross over to the top class, with Yuri having a bit of time to set it up, the races have now been reduced to 25%. So from now until the end of the season, and presumably for the future seasons as well, it will be a 25% race distance. So they are shorter than what they were supposed to be, but it's only really a 10% difference, really. So I don't think it will affect the racing too much, it's fair to say, because of course there's no pit stops in this series. It's just a simple sprint race. So yeah, it just means that people will have to be decisive a little bit more quicker, it seems. So anyway, qualifying's just started as Koenigsegger has just started her flying lap now then, as she makes her way through into turns 3 and 4 now then. And of course, last time out, the two Polish drivers decided to, well, take each other out at turn 1, really. And, well, it was a bit of a disaster for those two drivers, and they'll be looking to redeem themselves at Silverstone, of course, as she does a 31.321 in the first sector. She makes her way through into Brooklands. Reminder for anybody who's only just started watching this series, we are using the 1996 F3000 mod, so that's in case anybody's wondering what the car is. As Koenigsegger now then makes her way through into Woodcote now then, and she'll now make her way down towards Cobb's Corner. I'm not expecting these guys to take it flat out, or maybe because it's slower speeds they might be able to, but anyway, through Cobb's Corner we go, using a bit of curb on the outside as she now makes her way towards Maggots and Beckett's now then for the first time during this flying lap, through the right and then through the left and then through the second part of Beckett's before making her way towards Chapel and towards the end of Sector 2. So through Chapel she goes. Let's see what a middle sector is going to be like. It's a 116.260 in the middle sector, as she will now make her way up towards Stowe Corner. And of course, yesterday, during the F2 race, we did see quite a lot of a race full of attrition, it was fair to say, yesterday. And whether or not the same will happen here for the entrance series is another question. Koenigsegger now then makes her way through into the final 2 turns, as she'll be setting the benchmark of time for everybody to beat, as she will now come across the line. It looks like they're going to be close to the 1 minute 50, but I think they'll just get under it. It's a 148.879 for Koenigsegger there. Here comes Concom now then. The Thai driver goes into second place. The championship leader, Sam Fact, crosses the line to go into third, as it's now P3 for Nathan Ormond, who took pole last time out in Spielberg. Thomas Bennett slots into second. Here comes Davy Suarez. He slots to 6th. Baronet goes into 7th. Soppinen, the Finnish driver, goes into 4th position. Matteo Catalan, across the line, he will goes into 9th, 9 tenths off of Koni Zaina. Here comes Ray and Adam, he goes into 2nd. Patrick Borghi goes to the top by 2 tenths of a second. Here comes Ignaldi Tilly, the Frenchman now then, comes towards the final corner. Let's see what Tilly can do now then. Down the pitch straight he will go, and across the line goes Ignaldi Tilly, and he will go into 12th, as Chris Tarrison now then goes into 12th. Josh Fings across the line goes 5th. Here comes Jacob Sikorsky, one of the other drivers who retired last time out at Spielberg. Sikorsky crosses the line to go into 3rd, as here comes Alexandre Bogas, the Portuguese driver, goes into 5th position. Bernardo de Oliveira now then will come across the line, and where is de Oliveira going to emerge? He goes 17th, 1.4 seconds off there. Not a very good time there. Lopez slots into 10th position, the Brazilian driver getting himself into the top 10. As here comes Daniel Noakes, he goes into 12th. As in fact, there's still 3 cars who are still yet to go out onto the racetrack, which is a bit strange. So I wonder if they'll be waiting to go out a little bit later on there. So a little bit strange. I thought all 22 cars would get out there on the track. So I wonder what on earth's happened there. But anyway, we'll hopefully see those 3 drivers come out. Okay, well, something to keep an eye on to try and change then for future races. So we'll see those 3 remaining guys come out of the track. So if that's the case, then 3 drivers will usually get left behind. But so far, Borghi to the top of the timing sheets, and I think as expected, Blake, we're seeing sort of a different pecking order to what we saw at Spielberg.
Of course, because all of these cars are equal despite having different liveries. All the cars are really equal. And I think that's a massive advantage for how much the driver inputs, because it's very different. So it's kind of like the Formula 2 cars in every single car. In the series before you make up until the top class, where the performances are different. Well, I mean, you can't really count for equal, like Jam Car, Formula E are different classes. So I mean, it's complicated. Let's just put it at that. It's complicated.
Indeed so, as we look at Davy Suarez now, who's just come into the pit lane, currently in 14th position. I would expect that those 3 drivers who haven't done a lap yet will go out quite soon. So, as currently at the moment, Patrick Borghi at the top with Emilia Koni-Zaina in 2nd and Jacob Sikorsky in 3rd. The 2 drivers, of course, who took each other out at Spielberg. They'll be hoping to try and avoid each other this time by here at Silverstone. And now meet the way as they'll be preparing, most of them at least, to start the second laps, because I would imagine that 3 of them will get left behind. Those obviously the 3 that are yet to do a lap will obviously come out onto the racetrack. So Sikorsky will be is now going into the garage now then, as into pit lane then goes one of the Brazilian drivers. I think that might be Lopez, who is obviously currently, where is he at the moment? He's currently just in the cusp of the top 10 at the moment, just slotting in behind Soppinen now. Then the Finnish driver is coming out onto the racetrack is Max Skillen, and yet, of course, as expected, 3 of the drivers who are yet to set a lap are coming out. One of them being Max Skillen, the Scotsman, who of course had been competing in GP2 for the last few years, but trying his hand again, seeing what he can do in the entrance series. And safe to say, if you're following the OC, he's definitely Evan Burns' favourite driver. Not. But anyway, I had to get a little jab in there. But anyway, Skillen comes out onto the racetrack now then, as he now will make his way towards turn number 5, as we have just over 7 minutes to go in this session. So we'd imagine that not everybody is going to get a second lap in as a result, because of this being a very short qualifying session, of course, for all these drivers. But a few of them are going to get a second lap, as you can see. Soppinen, Suarez and Catalan have just made their way out onto the circuit, as Skillen now then makes his way through Luffield Corner. I think these 4 are the only ones on track, unless the 2 that are yet to set a time are yet to go out onto the racetrack. Skillen now then making his way towards Cops Corner now then, and of course, as mentioned earlier, Skillen will be looking to try and redeem himself after a tricky few seasons in GP2 and F2 for that fact, because when he first made his debut back in 2014 in the OC fraternity, he was pretty decent in the Venturi, obviously getting a victory in that series, but it just seemed like when he moved to GP2 and F2, he just didn't seem like he was the same driver at all, really. And so far to the start of this season, it hasn't really gone off the way he was hoping, as Skillen now then makes his way towards Stowe Corner. So 1 car is still yet to come out onto the track, because if it's anything to go by from the previous lap, 3 cars should get left behind. Who those 3 cars will be, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, De Oliveira will be hoping it's not him because he's currently down at the bottom of the timing sheet at the moment. This is Skillen now then makes his way through the final turn. Will anybody come out on track and affect his lap? Let's see as Skillen comes towards turn 1, and it's going to be Adam on track. So De Oliveira definitely risking it here at the moment as he's currently down at the bottom of the timing screen at the moment. But Skillen starts his lap, and luckily there's no traffic on the exit of the pit lane for him, so nobody can interfere on his lap. As Skillen now then makes his way towards turn 4, and then he'll soon come towards turn 5 in just a little bit. The Scotsman now then will flick it in through the left-hander now then, using the just avoiding the curve, I think I should say, on the inside there. Let's see what his first sector is like compared to Patrick Borghi now then. And his first sector, only 800ths off in the first sector, so not too far away from Borghi there. So a decent first sector for Skillen as he now makes his way around Luffield Corner. Just avoiding the curve on the inside before making his way through the flat-out right-hander. So Lopez, Noakes and De Oliveira are the ones who have been left behind on this occasion, as Skillen now then makes his way towards I guess you could take this corner flat out in these cars due to the speed that they're carrying. It's not quite a lot of speed, it's fair to say. Definitely nowhere near the top class speed. As Skillen now then makes his way through into Beckett's now then through the left-hander and then through the right before approaching Chapel. And let's see what his middle sector is like compared to Patrick Borghi now then. And he is 2 tenths down in the middle sector, so he kind of lost a little bit of time through into that middle sector. So if anything, I think he will emerge somewhere around in the top 5. But let's see if he can keep this up, providing he doesn't make a mistake at all. I know that the mistake rate isn't the same as what the top class is; it's the same as what it is in the race. But it doesn't mean that drivers can't make a mistake. As Skillen now then makes his way through into Vale and now into the final 2 corners of Club. Let's see what the Scotsman can do. And across the line he will go. Where is he going to place himself now then? Which could be his one and only lap, judging by the fact that we've only just got under 4 minutes left. And Skillen actually goes into 3rd, so doing a lot better than expected there.
Indeed so. And there's Jefferson going to cross the line now. And what position he's going to take? 6th place, that's a good lap. Catalan goes 2nd. And there's David Suarez going to cross the line now in 4th place. Rems goes into P4 as well. Suffering goes pole!
Hang on a minute, we've got dots on the track. I didn't actually see the weather because Yuri actually blitzed by a bit quickly there with the weather, but I'll just quickly rewind it on the screen just to see what the weather looked like, unless he just skipped past it. No, he didn't skip past it. Okay, so there was rain expected for qualifying. It was just light rain though, so I don't know why Yuri rushed past that. I mean, I know he's trying to ensure this gets finished before the top class, but thought we had a bit of time on our hands. But anyway, there's lots of hold-ups on that occasion as Ray and Adam goes into 5th position. Here comes Christoph Berenek. Across the line he will go. And no improvement for him. He stays in 20th position. He's really struggled so far from the first race of the season. As here comes Josh Fings now then, who's just coming down the straight. And across the line he will go. No improvement. He stays where he is. I wonder if the dots on the track are starting to affect these guys. Borghi, no improvement. Tilly, meanwhile, does improve, though. He goes to 14th. I wonder how much of that was down to Borghi Slipstream. As now...
there's dots at Club as well. So I think the light rain is a bit spreading at the moment. There's some dots at Club.
Yep, as now Sikorsky now then makes his way towards the final few turns on the racetrack now, then flicking it in for the left and then through into the double right-hander of Club. Let's see how Sikorsky can do. Round the final turn and onto the pit straight he will now go, and across the line goes the Polish driver, and no improvement, he stays where he is. Here comes Davey Suarez is coming into the pits, and I think most of these are coming into the pits. Just trying to look at the fuel loads, and it seems that yeah, I think everybody on this run has done a lap, and I think, providing that nobody else goes out before that 1 minute 48 threshold, I think that's going to be it for this qualifying session. As expected, we weren't expecting many laps in qualifying for these guys, and given that it is starting to rain during this qualifying session, whether it'll be an omen for the race, and maybe even the top class race a little bit later on, I'm not sure. But anyway, Suarez now then is in, and we've passed it. So I think as a result, Johan Soppinen has taken pole position. So he had a pretty strong race in Spielberg, and it seems like he's kept it up here at Silverstone.
Yes, indeed, and also I bet someone by the name of Yuri will be happy with that. So
definitely is, and I think he was alluding last week when he was doing commentary alongside me. Definitely no bias involved. So
yeah, yeah.
That's that. When he was talking, he had to make that clear whenever he was talking about Soppinen, basically trying to say definitely no bias involved because, fellow compatriot and all that. But who knows, really? Maybe Soppinen in the future in the OC could be the next Finnish superstar, of course, after Jiri Mata. We'll have to wait and see how the future seasons go and how well he does this time around. Well, obviously, as I mentioned, he had a very strong outing at Spielberg, and it seems on this occasion he's had another strong outing here at Silverstone. Catalan again with another strong performance. Of course, he didn't have the best of qualifying in Spielberg, but had some amazing race pace and was able to make his way up into 6th. So it'd be interesting to see what he can do. Connie Ziner up in 4th, much better than what she did at Spielberg, of course. But I think the one we need to talk about, Sam Fact, all the way down in 19th position. The championship leader's got a lot of work to do in the race.
Yes, indeed. And also, well, I told you before at the start of qualifying, do not jump the gun on these young drivers, because otherwise they would instantly drown under the pressure. So it's just best not to call them that yet.
Indeed, as I think that will be done. I don't know if anybody will get out before the 20-second mark, and given that we know how Grand Prix 4 works when it comes to fast forwarding the timer, and it seems that somebody else is going to give us that. So I think I don't know if we have to wait, because I know that on my Grand Prix 4 at least, and I think the same on Flo's, if you try and fast forward it with just AI cars, it basically doesn't really work. So I don't know if we're going to have to wait. Alright, so we'll wait for Notes to come back into the pits then, shall we? Unless we're going to try and...
Alright.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that would help. But anyway, let's have a look at the grid then, because it'll be the only time we'll read it off. Because, of course... anyway, let's have a look then at what the grid looks like then as we go into the full session times. Yuri can wake up. So, anyway, so I'll do the... Okay, fair enough. Okay, so the first 11, I'll read the first 11, and then Blake can read the second 11, then we'll get to the race very quickly. So on pole position, it is Juho Soppinen with Patrick Borghi in second. Matteo Catalan starts in third with Emilia Koenigsegger fourth. Ryan Adams starts in fifth with Julian Remes in sixth. Davy Suarez seventh. Max Gill in eighth. Jacob Sikorsky in ninth, followed by Alan Jefferson in 10th. Alexandra Bogas in 11th, and you can do the rest, Blake.
Thank you. P12 is Thomas Bennett. P13 is Josh Fings. P14 is Tilly. P15 is Concombre. P16 is Lopez. P17 is Chris Fresson. I'm sorry, I butchered your name. Nathan Ormond, Sam Fact. Daniel Noakes, Crystal Baronek, and Bruno de Oliveira.
Indeed, Baronek and de Oliveira, the only two drivers to be over a second off the pole sitter. So let's get to it then. I think you will want to fast forward this. It will be a 13-lap race, and there is no rain expected for the race. So just like at Spielberg, it'll just be a dry running. Whether this will be an omen for the top class, we will have to wait and see. So, anyway, as we get ready for the start of the race here at Silverstone, not Magny-Cours, as you can see on the loading screen there. Yeah, my favourite track, according to Yuri, not. But anyway, back to the action as we are now on the grid, getting ready to go for the Entrance Series race here at Silverstone. 13 laps of action coming your way. Of course, a shortened distance from what we had last week. It's now 25% races rather than 35% race distance, but hopefully we should have the same entertainment as we had in Silverstone. We've got 4 lights, 5 lights are on your screens. We are underway for the second ever Entrance Series race here at Silverstone as the front two get away quite well. Looks like Soppinen's got an even better start than Borghi. He's going to try and stretch away at the front as everybody tries to make their way through into the first 2 corners at Abbey. Everybody trying to keep it clean as meanwhile Catalan goes all the way around the outside there of Borghi and gets up into second place. A brilliant start for Matteo Catalan, the former top class driver, to get up into second place. Now, can everybody keep it clean through the first few turns? That's going to be quite interesting because we have seen carnage at these corners in the past, and thankfully, just like we've seen so far throughout the races we've seen here, everybody has kept it clean through the first few corners, but it is Soppinen who leads from Catalan in second, Borghi in third, Koenigsegger in fourth, and Ray and Adam currently completing the top 5. Meanwhile, in the background, Koenigsegger looking to the inside of Patrick Borghi now then into the corner.
It's happened again!
The crash, Koenigsegger and Borghi have made contact into Brooklands, and they're both out of the race, and once again, Koenigsegger out of the races. Bogas loses his front wing. Somebody's lost their rear wing as well. I'm not quite sure who that is, but carnage on the first lap, Blake.
I knew that was gonna happen again because when she made that move, I was like, oh no, it's gonna be the F2 race all over again. Well, it's happened.
it's Max Skillen who's the one that's lost his rear wing after Bogas ran into the back of him, trying to avoiding action from the carnage that was happening in front. But both Borgi and Koenigsegner out for the second race in a row. Koenigsegner out on the sidelines, and once again still yet to finish a race this season. But as a result of that, because of all that carnage, the top two as a result have broken away, with Catalan putting Soppinen under a lot of pressure. Adam up to third, Remis up to fourth. I should point out that we finally managed to get a Honduras flag now for Remis, because we were unable to do it in the last race, but finally have been able to get around to get a Honduras flag for Yuri to use. But anyway, Catalan looking to the outside of Soppinen, but Soppinen just going to hold on as a result. As meanwhile, Adam on the ins and Remis going side by side. As meanwhile, Suarez there having a bit of a very aggressive defense on Josh Fings there as they make their way towards Stowe Corner now then. Up towards Stowe we go as they go around the long swooping right-hander. As Skillen is coming back into the pit, will be coming back into the pits for a rear wing, so his race has gone down the toilet. And same goes for Alexandra Bogas, who has to come in for a new front wing. But the top two, as a result of all that carnage breaking away, and Catalan putting Soppinen under a lot of pressure, as he's actually set the fastest lap of the race now, then the early fastest lap of the race, I should say. Obviously, we expect the lap times to tumble a little bit more as we're now onto the second lap of the race. But Catalan looking like he wants to try. He's got a yellow flag actually down the corner. It's Bogas. It looks like a pit entrance glitch has occurred there with Alexander Bogas. I wonder if that was with Max Skillen coming into the pits, or whether it was just drivers trying to avoid each other going into the pit entrance there, as there are yellow flags down at that corner and also now down at Brooklands. What a chaotic start to the race we've had.
Yes, this is just this has been on the edge of my seat, and oh dear, it's one of the pit glitches, isn't it? And
it is Max Skillen.
Oh no, Skillen!
Was Max Skillen that did it, and he's also out of the race. So 4 cars out in the space of a lap, and we're down to 18 runners as a result. 2 yellow flag areas, as meanwhile Soppinen, of course, looked like Catalan was trying to overtake. Of course, normally in top class or in any other series, that would be a 5-second penalty if somebody overtook on the yellows, but Yuri has made it clear that there are no penalties in this series, so just thought I would clarify that one. But anyway, Catalan looking to put Soppinen under a bit of pressure down into Stowe Corner. Copse Corner, sorry. Is he now trying to look to the inside of the Copse, but hasn't quite got enough of an overlap, and Soppinen just going to stay in front for the moment. Meanwhile, we can see that Josh Fings now putting Suarez under a bit of pressure into Copse Corner, but again, just like with Soppinen, Suarez does stay in front, as it looked like he just didn't have enough. As meanwhile, Remis is up to third. He's past Adam somewhere on the track, so Remis is now up into the podium places. Julian Remis now up into third, as now Catalan wanting to attack for the lead of the race. Can he get the move done on Soppinen now? Then down the hanger straight. He's going to wait. He's going to pull to the inside. Is Catalan going to grab the lead off of Juha Soppinen?
Soppinen's going really aggressive. Wow. Soppinen really doesn't want to give that a go at that position. That's some really good defending. But meanwhile, we got one of the almost contact. That was it.
That was a bit aggressive there as Suarez barges his way through and gets up into fourth. Now, normally that would be a yellow flag overtake, but because there's no penalties in this, he can get away with that one. So, anyway, as everybody makes their way through Stone Cold, as the battle for the lead still continues, as Adam from third is now starting to drop backwards. He got overtaken, unseen by the cameras, by Remis. I presume that was at Brooklands, and then it seems like he's now dropped to fourth as a result of that barging overtake that Suarez did at Stoke Corner. Meanwhile, Baranek from 20th on the grid is now up into the points position. He's up into 10th, as Noakes now sets the fastest lap of the race, and just trying to see where Noakes is on the track, whether he's in the top 10 or not, because this uses the same point system as the top class, because if he is, and he isn't, so at the moment nobody will be getting the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race, because Noakes is outside of that top 10 threshold. Meanwhile, Fings is now starting to put Ray and Adam under a bit of pressure now. Then as the yellow flags at Brooklands have now cleared, it's only at Stone now where the yellow flags are, as now Jefferson tries to look to the inside of Concombe. Not going to work out there, as Lopez on the inside, and he's got the move done, and that's how the F2 boys should have done it yesterday. Lopez over to 11th, a great pass there on Inyaldi Tilly.
Indeed so. Indeed so. Looks like these boys has definitely a better overtaking skills than a certain Hungarian, which will not be named, but you know, at least they're doing some good racing. Whilst meanwhile, Josh Fings trying to go around the outside. That's not going to work, my friend. You usually get bogged down with loads of cars behind you. But can Catalan even make the same move again on Duhamela? No.
But he cannot get the move done on Soppinen there for first place. So once again, having to hand back. Catalan trying to use his experience to maybe put Soppinen under a lot of pressure in this race, as Remy has now bolted away in third position. Fings still stuck behind Ray and Adam in this race. As now, meanwhile, we're about to start lap 4 of 13 in this race. So we'll have 10 laps to go in this race, of course. Of course, this track a lot longer than what Spielberg is, so it is to be expected. As meanwhile, just in front of Berenet here, there's some side-by-side action going on between Concombe and Jefferson there, as Concombe just fending off 8th place for the moment, as now Remis takes the fastest lap point away from Noakes with a 1:48.697, so now he currently holds on to that bonus point for the fastest lap of the race, as they now make their way down at the Hamilton straight. As meanwhile in front, it looks like Jefferson on the inside of Concombe. Is Jefferson going to get 8th? Well, we won't know, of course, because the camera is cut back to the race leaders. As meanwhile, Noakes trying to look onto the inside of Thomas Bennett going into Abbey Corner there, but Bennett just able to hang on to 15th for the moment, as they're pretty much all aboard the Concombe train, as there's a lot of cars stacking behind him. Catalan not close enough on that occasion to get Sopinen into Brooklands there. He was just too far back to challenge, and I wonder if the same is going to be here for Suarez, who sorry, not Suarez, this is who is it?
Josh Fings.
Josh Fings, sorry, that is Fings trying to get a hold of as anyway, meanwhile
Jefferson, be careful! Oh, Concombe locked up!
Jefferson taking full advantage of that and gets up into 8th. Concombe down to 9th as a result. As we now look at Julian Remis, who's making his way through into Copse Corner now then, as we ride on board with Ray and Adam, as he's got Josh Fings still piling pressure on him now then, as they make their way through into Copse now then, as the battle for the lead still continues at the moment, and well, those two at the front at the moment, Blake in a league of their own.
Yeah, yes indeed. Well, without that incident, they would have been close, but still, still softening, and Catalan are still on the lead of their own. But Remis is actually just pulled away from 4th, so I think without that incident, I think Remis would have been around top 2 by now. But
you say that,
sometimes
you say that, but he is losing time to the top 2. It was 3 seconds. It's now gone up to 4 seconds. Meanwhile, Berenet now on the inside of Concombe into Stoke Corner. Can he get the move done? A bit of contact. And Bargy there. It seems that these guys like to bump around a bit at Silverstone, but either way, Berenek up into 9th position. Lopez trying to take full advantage. Not going to work, but look at that dive bomb there. Who is that making a dive bomb? It's Hinyaldi Tilly. A brilliant move there from the Frenchman to get up into 11th.
He's just Tilly's just taking full advantage of one of the Benetton liveries ahead. So that was an absolute send and a half by Tilly. Massive send.
Was indeed, as whilst that was happening, Remy set another fastest lap of 1:48. Oh, we got
no!
That's the first mechanical failure in this series that we've ever seen, and it is Thomas Bennett that's the first mechanical failure of this series, as his car has caught a light. Cue the fire memes in the stream chat. So there we go. That's the 5th retirement, and we're now down to 17 runners. Thomas Bennett out of the race, and it was a fiery engine that took care of him.
Indeed so. And then meanwhile, we have the Englishman Josh Fings trying to go down the inside, but you need to be careful, Josh Fings, because otherwise you'll end up in an instant. Little Josh Fings on Sikorsky. He's done it pretty nicely. Nice spin. Nicely done.
I should point out, Blake, if for anybody worrying about any question at Brooklands, it's only when somebody goes defensive. When somebody's not going defensive, there's no such issues there. But anyway, Fings up into 5th. He was stuck behind Ray and Adam for quite a long time, but finally has got himself into the top 5 as the battle for the lead still continues between Juha Sopinen and Matteo Catalan.
Yeah, this is kind of like a cat and mouse game. Look kind of what happened in the F2 race yesterday. It was between Watzel and Sonome. It's actually pretty ironic that Sopnan is actually driving the same colours as Sonome's Carlin. It's pretty ironic.
Well, same colour scheme at least, anyway. But anyway, as now we look at Catalan, still not able to find a way through. Sopinen really resisting the pressure of the experienced Italian at the moment, as now they make their way through into the final turn and onto the pit straight we go now then, as they'll start lap 6 of 13 here at Silverstone. The gap's still 0.2 of a second between the pair of them, as Lopez still having to fend off from the drivers behind, as Remis with another fastest lap, a 1:48.457, still really wanting to increase his advantage with that fastest lap and try and maintain that bonus point as best as possible, as he's nowhere near the top 2 at the moment and looking like he's going to have a very lonely race in 3rd position as he continues to streak away from Davy Suarez. Meanwhile, here comes Lopez now then on the inside of Hinyaldi Tilly, but Tilly fends off the inside, and Joao Lopez will have to try again a little bit later on, but may have to watch out for the drivers behind at this point in time. As it looks like somebody is on the inside, and I was just saying that Nathan Orman sneakily makes his way through into 12th there. So very sneaky there from the American, who of course recently announced, I might as well mention this, that he will not be signing up for the 2022 season due to other commitments in his real life. So best of wishes to him after the 2021 season to Nathan Ormond. So anyway, but a sneaky move there for the American. Catalan again trying to look on the inside of Soppinen, but it's not going to quite work out. So once again, Catalan just having to hang back for the moment and try and reassess.
Indeed so. Catalan's just been pushing and trying to push us as far into Soffman, but Soffman has just been resisting the pressure of a full experienced top-class driver. He's just treating him like he's just an amateur.
Well, this is the closest that Catalan has been, but again, opting to go for the outside rather than the inside. We saw it a few times yesterday in F2, so much to the frustration of lead commentator Robert Ionescu. The fact is, okay, the best place to do it is on the inside, not the outside, because sometimes it just doesn't work. It's understandable in the top class, because we have seen it work, but that's normally down to a combination of fresher tyres, and at times, maybe having a superior car. But on this occasion, because there's no pit stop, that's probably going to be near on impossible to do. As Ormond trying to put Tilly under a bit of pressure, but Tilly shutting the door there, going through into Stone, ensuring he doesn't find a way through. The gap now up to over 5 seconds between second and third now of Catalan and Remis at the moment, as Ormond tries to put Tilly under a bit of pressure. At the same time, he's trying to get that final points place away from Yaton Conkham, and now going down the Hamilton straight they go. Neither of them close enough to get Conkham on this occasion, as the battle for fourth now then is going on. Meanwhile, Catalan not close enough to get Soppinen on this occasion, so he's just once again going to have to hand back. Just seems that Soppinen just maybe have some better traction coming out of turn 4, which is Village, and has to hang back for the moment. There is a battle for fourth going on meanwhile between Suarez and Fings, as Fings is now going to the inside of Suarez. Suarez not thinking about shutting the doors. Fings going to get through quite easily, and not quite. Just looked like Suarez just able to hang it around the outside and hold on to that fourth place. So Things will have to reassess and try again.
Indeed so. Some drivers has a little bit more pace, race pace compared to the rest of the qualifying, but speaking of drivers who has more pace in qualifying, Hoffman is just bullying Catalan despite being a top class driver, but then again I can completely jinx it.
Indeed so, as now meanwhile we can see that again Catalan trying to put Soppinen under a lot of pressure now then, but again opting to go for the outside rather than the inside, and as a result Soppinen just able to hold on as they make their way through into Stowe Corner now then, as he's trying to see if he can try and find a way around the outside through into Vale. Not going to work out, so once again going to hang back, as meanwhile Things also opting to go for the outside in his battle for fourth with Davy Suarez, as Sikorsky now then having to fend off from Alan Jefferson, who may actually try and go around the outside here. Could he actually pull this off? Keep it tidy, contact!
Oh Jesus Christ! That's a big one.
Jefferson was being too aggressive there, and he's got himself out of the race. He should have backed out. I wonder if anybody's going to lose their front wing in the process. It looks like people may have got away with it, because I've not seen anybody duck into the pits there.
Yeah.
But Jefferson out of the race.
That was a massive impact by Jefferson.
It's fair to say, Blake, he was being a bit too aggressive there.
Yeah, yes indeed. I think he should have backed out, but I think at the moment there the moment before he hit the tyre, that was a massive impact on the back of the ground. And then, boom. That is a massive impact by Jefferson.
Indeed, and that is the 6th retirement of the day, so that means we are down to 16 runners in this race. If we get another slow-mo footage of the accident, his car just basically disintegrating in the air there, really, and that is race over him, and somehow everybody was able to avoid damage with all that debris on the track.
Yeah, it's everyone's just getting through very lucky, like it's like everything's fine.
Indeed so, but whatever the case, as mentioned, we are down to 16 runners, and 16 cars now remain. Meanwhile, back to the battle of the lead now between Soppinen and Catalan now. Then as Catalan once again tries to put Soppinen under a lot of pressure. He's trying to get in the slipstream of the Finnish driver, but again, Soppinen defending the inside into Brooklands, and once again going to hold on to the lead of the race. Things is now actually starting to drop back now from Davy Suarez, as meanwhile there's a train forming behind 9th place, that being... I think that is.
I was about to say the choo-choo Concom train, but then it's still.
It's not. It's actually now turned into a Hinyaldi Tilly train. It was a Concom train a little bit earlier on, but now it is an Hinyaldi Tilly train. And now here comes Catalan now then, who's trying to look to the inside of Soppinen. Not going to work out. So once again, just going to hang back for the moment as they now make their way towards Maggots and Beckett's now then through the left. then through into the right, and then through into the Beckett's part of the complex now then. Catalan again trying to put him under a bit of pressure. I wonder if he'll opt to go for the inside this time as opposed to the outside down the Hangar Straight, as the pair of them are now down the Hangar Straight. Meanwhile, Factor now then having to fend off from, who is that behind? That is Noakes, and Noakes unable to get the move done. As they're all stuck behind Inyaldi Tilly at this point in time. As meanwhile, Catalan thought about a move on Soppanen there, but Soppanen once again holding on to the lead at this point in time. As we now look at Sam Fact, who's still stuck behind Joao Lopez, who himself is still stuck behind Nathan Ormond, who himself is still stuck behind Vunyaton Konkum, who himself is stuck behind Inyaldi Tilly. As now here comes Sam Fact now, then the championship leader, looking to the inside as we've got 5 laps to go in this race. He's trying to look to the inside of Joao Lopez. He's and just like we've seen before, he barges his way through and up into 12th place. Goes Sam Fact. His Note's going to follow through. Side by side they go down into Vale. His Note's going to get him around the outside. The answer to that is, I think he might pull this off, in fact, if he can keep up with it. As it looks like Lopez trying to keep his foot in as they go side by side through into Club Corner. They're still side by side, but Lopez just going to hold on. And now Tarrison wants a hold of Noakes now down into the first corner. Is Tarrison going to get a hold of 14th as a result? As De Oliveira is also in this fight, and neither of them switch paces. So they just stay in their respective positions for the moment. As De Oliveira trying to look to the inside of I'm trying to remember who that was there. We were talking so much. The name has actually flew out of my head. But anyway, here comes Christoph Baronet now. They're looking to the inside of...
be careful! Be careful!
As he's trying to pass, I'm not sure. Very close indeed. Baronet trying to get side by side with Sikorsky there, but Sikorsky just able to hold on for the moment. And Baronet again will have to reassess and try to go for it again. But from 20th on the grid, been an amazing comeback from Baronet. Yes, there's been so much carnage, but he's kept his nose out of it and is currently in the points.
Indeed. Hopefully he gets a good reputation back, because he's been out because he's lost his seat in DTM last year. But meanwhile, Josh Fink is still on the back of Milton Queen, the car of what is his name already, because they're talking so much.
Anyway, back to the battle of the league. Catalan still trying to find a way through on Soppanen. He's
going there's Catalan! Go down the inside!
Thought about it, but couldn't get the move done. And again, Soppanen doing a great job defensively, but all that he's doing is allowing Remage to just close in slightly, because it was over 5 seconds earlier on. But throughout the last few laps, he has been cutting that gap down. It's now down to 3.9 seconds between himself and Catalan. I don't think he's got enough time to close them up, but if anything happens in front, he'll definitely be there to capitalise. Meanwhile, Ormond trying to get that final points place off of Conkham now, then as they make their way down towards Vale, but isn't able to get the move done. 4 laps to go here at Silverstone as they make their way through into Club Corner now then, and now approaching the final turn, and then making his way down the Hamilton Straight. Let's see what Ormond is able to do. Can he get that points place off of Conkham? I'm not sure. Catalan not close enough to get Soppanen that time by. Ormond on the inside of Conkham, but Conkham shuts the door, and all that has done has allowed Sam Fact to get on there. The championship leader on the inside. Can he get the move done into turn 3? He can. Goes Sam Fact, and he's now just 1 place away from the points. A brilliant comeback, given a tricky qualifying he's had, because he qualified all the way down in 19th, and he's now just 1 place away from the points as the battle between Soppanen and Catalan continues.
Indeed so. Catalan is still on the back of Soppanen, but Catalan just doesn't have the overdrive on overspeed on Soppanen. So Catalan needs to be more picky with his lines, because otherwise he will not overtake Soppanen.
Well, Baronet going inside on the of Sikorsky now. Then can Baronet get the move done into Cop's corner? Nope, Sikorsky just able to hold on for the moment as they make their way towards Maggots and Beckett's, and again looking to the outside, but as we've seen many times, not going to work out. So Baronet again having to hang back. Remy's now just 3.2 behind the top 2, so maybe he could gain onto them surprisingly. Catalan in a situation, he's going to try again. He's going to dive it down the inside into Vale, but it's not going to work again. Soppanen just able to hold on for the moment. He's doing an amazing job defensively, but all this defending is rendering is just bringing Julian Remy's that bit closer. So if they keep fighting and the rate that Remy's is gaining, we could end up with a 3-way fight right towards the end of the race.
This could be advanced warfare at the end.
Indeed so, as now they make their way through into turn 3. There is Remy's there. He's not too far away from this top 2 now then. Through into turn 4 we go. Through village there. And now into Aintree we go before making their way down the Wellington Straight. Is Catalan close enough to try and go for a move on the race leader this time by? Down the Wellington Straight. Soppinen already thinking about going defensive. Catalan is close by and Soppinen again just holding on for the moment. He's just really got to keep his nerve if he wants to win this race. But at the same time be aware that Remy's is not that far away from the top 2 now, with 2 and a bit laps to go in this race. And now coming out of love field, Catalan again trying to line up Soppinen for a pass into Cox. Meanwhile, Things looking to the inside of Suarez. There's a lock up for Things there as he had to jam on the brakes to avoid going into the back of Suarez there, and that was too close for comfort.
Yeah, I was ready for. Oh no, it's happened again. But Josh Things, Josh thinks I was running into the back of him, but I mean, fair play. Well, her Sam.
Right now they're trying to have a go at Conklin for 10th position.
Too close, my friend.
Didn't quite work out there, but he's definitely trying to put him under a bit of pressure. Now here we go again with the battle for the lead between Soppinen and Catalan. Through Beckett's now, then we're going in into Chapel we go. Is Catalan close enough to get Soppinen? He's a little bit far back, but he could try and get it back on the slipstream before the end of the Hanger Straight. But even then, it's going to be a bit of an ask. And again, Catalan not close enough to mount an attack going into Stoke Corner. So Soppinen again with a bit of breathing space going down the Hanger Straight there as they now make their way down towards Vale. As will Catalan try and go for a move there? I'm not too sure, as Baranek is now starting to drop back a bit from Sikorsky. Now Ormond is now maybe starting to fall. In fact, Ormond has passed the fact again. Ormond is up into 11th place. It looks like something has happened down at Maggots there. Maybe Fact was trying to go for an overtake on Conkham, and Ormond, just like we saw earlier on down at turn 3, just snuck his way through.
Yeah, because Ormond is he's little slide foxing. He's just taking positions when people are being catched out.
Lopez and Notes will want to take advantage. Well, now onto the penultimate lap of the race here at Silverstone. Soppinen has got 2 laps in which to fend off from Catalan and pretty soon Remy's, as he's now only 1.9 seconds behind this lot now. There he is. He's not that far away. He's very close to slipstream range of the pair of them, so he could be someone to keep an eye on. Through into turn 4 and now through into Aintree we go now then, as Catalan really trying to put Soppinen under pressure now. And down the Wellington Straight we go for the penultimate time today in the entrance series at least, as they now make their way down towards Brooklands. And again, Soppinen defending the inside from the Italian now then. Through the left-hander we go. There is Remy's looking for any opportunity to pounce on these two should anything happen to the pair of them. Coming around Lovefield Corner, now making their way down towards Woodcote now then. Will Catalan try and go for an attack down into Cops Corner? Let's see now then, as he's now going to into the slipstream, going to look to the inside. Is Catalan going to pull the move off this time into Cops Corner? Now again, Soppinen shutting the door on him there, and he holds on to the lead for the meantime. 1.7 now Remy's has got to the cars in front, and now coming around the Maggots and Beckett's complex now then we go. Remy's is really close now to that top 2. I don't think Catalan is close enough again to mount an attack down the Hanger Straight. We see, in fact, maybe not. Maybe he is this time, but he's a bit closer than what he was on the previous lap. But whether it's enough, I don't know. But he's right in the slipstream of Soppinen now then down towards Stoke. Soppinen can feel the pressure and again fends the inside. He knows what's at stake here. Through Stoke Corner we go now then, as we make our way down towards Vale and Club, as we will soon be starting the final lap of the race here at Silverstone for the entrance series. Through the Vale and now through into the double right-hander of Club, making their way down towards the Hamilton Straight now then, as now we've got one more lap to go for Juha Soppinen. Can he withstand the pressure? Things has passed Suarez for 4th, unseen by the cameras. Josh Things has passed Suarez and is finally up into 4th position, but we're on to the final lap of the race and we've got a battle for the lead that we really need to keep an eye on here. Catalan all over the back of Soppinen. He's also got Remy's not far behind, who could pounce at any opportunity that presents him. Through into turn 4 we go, and now approaching turn number 5, which is Aintree. Going down the Wellington Straight very soon now, and is Catalan close enough to go for a move on Soppinen? I think he might be a bit too far back, in fact, to challenge him down into Brooklands. As long as Soppinen can keep this up, I think he can withstand the pressure and hold on to this. But he's still got plenty of corners to go and still plenty of time for Catalan to try and go for a move on the Finnish driver. Through Lovefield we go for the final time today. Around the long, swooping right-hander we go as they make their way down towards Woodcote Corner. Will Catalan go for a move into Cops now then?
I think he will do it. I think he will do it again. And this in critical corners for this Grand Prix for the last few laps again. I think Catalan will try and go for a move by Cops again, but Soppinen is still ahead of of Matteo Catalan's, but I don't think that the Honduras driver is very close to Catalan, and also Soften has just pulled away at Maggots. I think Soften may have just won this race for now, but I may be wrong.
We'll see, of course. Anything could still happen. He could still make a mistake in these final few turns, we will see. But he's got enough of a gap, I think, to keep hold of Catalan from behind. He's still going to go defensive, just in case he's close enough to maybe go for a dive as they make their way through into Stowe. There's only a couple of corners now for Catalan. He's right back in the slipstream with Soponen. Can Catalan get him on the final lap? And the answer to that is no. I think Soponen is going to hold on to the victory. I think that was his last chance. But it's been a brilliant drive from Soponen. He withstood the pressure from Catalan and even Remes, who's got under a second behind him. But Juha Soponen is going to win here at Silverstone and become the second different winner in the Entrance Series. What a drive for him, and kept his nerve to hold off Catalan and Remes, who finished second and third. That was brilliant defensive driving from the Finnish driver.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. That was a great race to watch. He has drama and the overtakes. What a race, Joe! What a race! I need just need a moment, mate.
Things in fourth. Suarez fifth. Adam in sixth, followed by Beranek, who got seventh on the final lap. He finally passed Sikorsky. So Sikorsky 8. Tilly will take ninth. Conkham will just hold on to pick up the final points place. Orman finishing 11th. Fact scoring no points. 13th for Lopez there. 14th for Noakes. 15th for, I think it was Towson, and 16th for De Oliveira. But Soponen is the winner, and, well, he really held off the pressure from Catalan in the end there then. So here are the final results to quickly round out. Juha Soponen wins the race, from Matteo Catalan in second, Julian Remes in third, with Josh Fings fourth, Davy Suarez in fifth, Ray and Adam in sixth, with Krzysztof Beranek in seventh, Jacob Sikorsky in eighth, with Hinyaldi Tilly ninth, Fonyaton Conkham completes the points in 10th, Nathan Ormond in 11th, Sam Fact in 12th, Joel Lopez in 13th, Daniel Noakes 14th, Chris Tarrison in 15th, then Bernardo De Oliveira, the last of the finish, in 16th, with Alan Jefferson, Thomas Bennett, Max Skillen, Alexandra Bogas, Emilia Conizaina, and Patrick Borghi. All 6 of those drivers not finishing. Let's just check who got the fastest lap of the race, and it was Julian Remes who got the fastest lap. So he, because he finished in third, will take the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race. So he will get 16 points instead of just 15. But there you have it then. A brilliant race, you'd have to say, Blake.
Brilliant. That was a brilliant race, like I said before. Well, he had some its moments, and I gotta say that was a race I was never expecting.
Indeed so. Well, that has been it then for the Entrance Series here at Silverstone. We obviously need to wrap up quickly because, of course, in just under around 45 minutes time will be the top class race here at Silverstone for the 52-lap British Grand Prix. Of course, there's no commentary for that because we allowed George to do that for the highlights. But in the meantime, that has been it. I hope you have enjoyed it. The next Entrance Series race will be on next week at the Hungaroring in Budapest. But until then, that has been it. So thank you all for watching. I've been JW97. He's been Blake Moore, and we will see you next time.
Goodbye.